for a spot in the quarterfinals of the Players' Championship. Declan's moved through the field as the #2 seed very smoothly, and he is largely unscathed in the set format that we have. 3 sets of best-of-9s. And he's up against 𝗏𝗀𝗃𝗏. We've reached the single elimination stage. There is no fallback, even though that Dec came through without having to touch the loser's side. It is now lose and go home. Spot in the quarterfinal is the reward as Tony Holgate comes in to join us on commentary for the first time today.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
What a fine morning it is, especially for Craig Woodingham. We just saw beating John Rowe. It's now the turn of Declan Brennan against 𝗏𝗀𝗃𝗏. I was on the 𝗏𝗀𝗃-Luke Gilbert match yesterday. That was a great game. 2 best friends. Dom coming out on top, but then he did end up being defeated and has had to come through the loser's side. Like you said, Simon, Declan is unscathed.
Yeah. Just, you feel like Dom's going to have to play his level here. I don't see Declan dipping in this match. I think he's going to play a really high level because he has done all throughout the tournament. And Dom can certainly match it, but he's going to need to go out there and match it.
Yeah, he looked very good last night, Declan. I watched it from actually in the arena. I think he was playing Zach Cooper.
Yeah.
And he was really impressive. Yeah, I think it's a good call. Dom's going to have to be at his very, very best. He produced some fine form yesterday out on this table. Like I said, against Luke Gilbert.
Perfectly poised here to take the opening frame off the Declan break.
Yeah, just wants to get low on that last yellow, so it makes it easy position to get onto black. And that's absolutely fine. Yellow and black, same pocket. Tidy start from 𝗏𝗀𝗃𝗏.
Very tidy start from the cowboy. 𝗏𝗀𝗃𝗏. Well, gives us an opportunity while they're looking at racking the balls out there. Let's have a little look around the grounds, and Carl Morris has taken the opening set against Joe Prince, 5-3. Joe Prince winning set 2, 2-1 up. As we have a look across at Stevie Dempsey and Brian Halcrow, the buzzer having a very good weekend is Brian. And he's currently out there against Stevie. Stevie's had the best of the start, though. Currently 3-1, and well, this 8-ball for 4-1 for Stevie, who is having a very good season once again. Took down our last Pro Series title.
Yeah, very steady performer, Mr. Dempsey from Ireland. Yeah, he had a great weekend at Wigan about a month ago. Won't be long before we're off to Bolton either for the next
fortnight, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah, for the next tour.
Action comes thick and fast here on Ultimate Pool TV. A couple of weeks after that, we're back here in Red Hill for the last man standing. Of course, the Champions League concludes. The Pairs Cup starts.
I was just going to say, it's the Pairs is now looming. I was talking to a couple of lads there, Dom as well, because it would be himself and Luke Gilbert will be one of the formidable duos, the Chambers brothers. Nice to see them in action as well. Red's looking very nice here for Declan. He's just double checking the red next to the black. You could send down to play a plant in that bottom corner, which he can. It's just the red that's to the left of that one. Might want to leave himself an angle so he can play the plant and push the other one down the table a bit. Or play the other way and play the plant and screw back, so he's got that decision to make. As Cooney looks on. He's still not entirely sure, and this is why he's taking his time here. He's not 100% clear where he's going. And I think this is a slight reroute from the intended destination. Yeah, nice use of that yellow there by Declan, just to hold the cue ball. And very tidy as well from the man from Northern Ireland as well. And he's going to level things up. Good start from both players.
Yeah, exactly what you expect from Declan on his first opportunity. Gets himself going. The players started really nicely here. Could be a very exciting 3 sets of pool. John McAllister's completed victory in the opening set against Chris Day, 5-1, and he leads set number 2, 1-0. That's in the last 16. Winner of that match will play the winner of this match in the quarterfinals. Callum Singleton is currently a set to good up against Eddie Barker. Won the opener 5-4 and 3-2 up in set number 2. So Callum Singleton very close to getting himself into the quarterfinals as well. Of course, we already know that 𝗠𝗁𝗃𝗃 is there, beating Liam White 2-0, 5-1, 5-3. And Carl Morris, we know, is 1-0 up and 2-1 down in set 2 against Joe Prince. Cue ball. And a monster break as well. Shake of the head because Declan walks away from the table, fully expecting this to be 2-1 down.
Yeah. Great break, except for the cue ball bit. And that's the problem, is you hand your opponent such an easy layout. Be careful with that cue ball. He's okay. Not sure I'd have played to get on that one up there. I might play for the yellow, the red that's in the middle of the two and kick the other one out, purely because you were always sailing towards that middle bag. now it's just the simple stuff really to do for Dom. 3 very quick frames in his opening set.
Really was a wide open, as good a layout as we'll see in the whole match, if not the whole tournament. Here's 2-1 Dom Cooney. Go back across and see Stevie Dempsey still at the table. He actually, this is a couple of, well, 1 frame on. He won the frame we were last with him at, and he's now in at the start of set 2. Won the opening set 5-1. Unfortunately for Brian Halcrow, he looks very comfortable there on the left-hand side. Not getting much of a look in at the moment.
No, I'm looking at the state of the yellows here. I think he can settle there for a bit longer. Yellow must obviously go past those reds into top corner. We'll leave that and come back to our featured event as Dom Cooney steps up to break off in frame number 4, leading 2-1 against Declan Brennan. And that is going to be dry. So things not going with break at the moment.
Yeah, the advantage of the break is the exact opposite here. Neither player can get a chance off their own break, but they're leaving wide open chances for their opponent, because this is very, very nice for Declan.
Yeah, it's been 4 good splits, isn't it? Really good splits. It's not too bad there where Declan's landed. I know he's going to be bridging over, but just where that cue ball sat, there's a gap between the 2 yellows and he can get his cue through there. That's where he wants to be. Cue ball near that left-hand centre, just before it. Play the red across. He's gone a bit further than he would have wanted. Still okay. Probably won't even deviate. Just play now this red into the middle and send the cue ball off the top rail and come back down. Doesn't have to, you can play this and screw back, but I'd rather go for top rail, I think, and still leave the choice of the 2. This, you've got to be a bit more precise.
Touch more angle than he wants here?
I think so, yeah.
In the end, does to kill it in. That was a better shot than it looked.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's pure cueing there. I thought you might have had to go into the rail, but he played it well, Declan Brennan.
Four reverse clearances on the bounce to start this match. Very intriguing 11 minutes of play there. Which player can find their break the first, you feel, right now? Because at the moment, they're leaving each other beautiful splits. And we get to see Buzzer finally at the table in their last 16 match. Stevie Dempsey, we already know, is a set and 1-0 up in that match. 𝗏𝗏 needs to find some momentum to turn this one around. Winner of this last 16 match will play the winner of Joe Prince and Carl Morris. It looks like we're heading towards a deciding set. Carl Morris is 1-0 up, winning the opening set 5-3, but 4-1 down in set 2 to Joe Prince.
Run continues.
Yeah, it's quite incredible. Makes a tiny adjustment trying to keep the cue ball coming up the centre of the table because it's been tracking the right corner, and he brings it into the left corner. And again, a very nice even split. These yellows look, well, I mean, I'd never like to take it for granted for pro ball players, but these 5 splits we've had, you know, you're surprised if they don't take them out. I mean, there's still quality to do it, but
absolutely,
what we're seeing is incredible.
Yeah, these are the type of finishes, if you're a professional pool player and don't take it out, you are going to be absolutely kicking yourself for missing. Because these are golden. Don't have to move anything. You don't have to be that precise either with this finish. I think I like getting rid of the yellow beneath the black first and then come back up and play the one over the bag and back around. That's my favoured route, I think. Or we could just pop this in and play that one over the bag and come back off the side rail, which he's going to do that way. Either or. This is probably better because it's... Oh, he's played the plant. I'd have preferred not to play the plant, and it's got nothing to do with... This is just preference, because I don't like where the, you don't know really where the second ball could go.
Yeah, you had a pretty good idea that it was going to be somewhere in 9, but it was one of those that probably a personal preference shot more than anything else.
Yes. I thought I'd just say it the long way round. Down goes the black. And Dom Cooney goes one in front once again, and we just have a little look out into the arena. Eddie Barker and Callum Singleton.
Callum Singleton has fought his way through to the hill. Won the opening set 5-4. He's 4-2 up in the second set. They've been playing for 2.5 hours. Can you believe that? 2.5 hours they've been playing now. That's incredible.
That's the thing when you don't have the old shot clock and match clock out there.
That is not, well, how many frames they played? 15 frames. They're 15.5 frames of Paul in 2.5 hours. Incredible.
3 frames to 2.
I was talking to Stephen on the previous match about the advantage of being a quick player. You know, someone like Christy Caulfield, who's flown through this draw, got himself into the quarterfinals. He's played for an hour and a half, twice a day.
Yeah.
You know, whereas Carl Morris has been ever present on the table all day yesterday, and he was in again at 9 o'clock this morning, and he has not left the table. You know, and if he turns that, well, if he's just gone into a deciding set against Joe Prince. If he was to win that one, he would almost be instantly straight back on in the quarterfinals because his match has gone on so long.
I couldn't have coped with it. Simple as that. No, no question. My brain would have been fried.
These schedules are designed to allow, you know, a good couple of hours. So we're going to see a first frame where we don't see a reverse clearance here. So this could be quite a critical frame in this set. But yeah, schedules are allowed for matches to be about 2.5 hours long, and when they start lasting 4 hours, you got some problems. And it kind of, as a player, you know, I feel for Carl Morris in terms of, yeah, if he wins that match, he will have played till super late last night, all day, and then would be straight back on today and all day. But that's the nature of playing slowly.
Yeah.
You know,
but then you've got the fact that you've got fatigue can set in then, and I just genuinely couldn't have coped with that. And I have played some long matches back in, you know, when I was playing as a pro, because we didn't have the shot clock as well on the side tables, and they were mind-numbing.
Yeah, I mean, whoever wins that match, but let's, for argument's sake, say it is Carl. So you see the loss of turn from Dom. You know, he'll have an argument, and you know, he's not shy about having an argument to say, I need an hour or two here. But you know, the whole tournament then has to wait for him, and you know, he didn't have to play a match in 4 hours.
No.
So, you know, it's one of those tricky situations that the tournament organisers have to deal with. Potentially, Joe might turn that one around, and I'm sure he'll have no issues going straight back on.
I mean, it's the odd occasion where you think, I'd just like a minute to look at this, because you're in a position that's critical and you have a couple of choices to make. But generally all the time, 30 seconds is plenty in this day and age with these rules. To take 5 minutes and more to decide what shot to play, for me, is ridiculous.
Yeah, there are
at this level.
I know that this is obviously very serious business, and players are playing for a lot of money. But you know, there are people, some of the players, a decent amount, that their natural pace can really get sluggish when they're not put under the match clock conditions and the shot clock conditions. And you know, I'm with you. I mean, the minute you get past a minute of looking at a shot, what else is there to think about?
We'd have players back where they would be deliberately playing at that sort of pace, especially if they were playing somebody that played at a quicker pace. If they're at the table, they would definitely do it a lot. There'd be lots of toilet breaks. There was all sorts of psychological play back then.
Yeah, anyway, that's all for the organisers to worry about, thankfully. And we can focus on this match between Declan Brennan and Dom Cooney. And Dom has got himself an opportunity to get to the hill here in the opening set. Just let the cue ball track a touch too far here. So, tricky shot still. He's okay, but just okay.
Yeah, I was going to say that, yeah. He's got to play the one at the top, and he's got some slightly hampered cueing over that red. Cue ball should naturally come down the table. But there might be a little case to say that the cue ball might go close to the middle bag. And he's got to get the pace of this correct. Well, he's deciding against it and going to go, let's say, round the angles here. Careful, we're knocking the black in. Never liked it. I think he had to take his medicine and just cue over that ball and just run that yellow in. Yeah. I can understand why he didn't. He wanted an easier shot on here, and now he's made the black a whole lot worse than what it was.
He's got a natural line to play on it. He could even play into it, but I don't like that.
I think playing into it, he needs a little bit of left-hand side, and I think the red's in the way of that. Might prove me wrong. Yeah, prove me wrong. Did come a bit wide.
Yeah.
Nowhere though. That I mean, well.
Did he pop that on the thick side of the pocket? I thought he could actually. I thought the natural line was bringing him the inside of the 8 ball, and he actually would have missed it on the wide side with hitting the cushion first.
No, you're right.
Big moments in this set.
Well, he pulled out a huge fluke against Luke Gilbert yesterday on the black. Well, he came round some angles and kicked it back into the top corner.
Yeah, a couple, didn't he? The key moments in that match.
Yeah, one he played for, because he came back off the bottom rail into the black and off the yellow into the centre.
Still a huge shot.
Yeah, it was. It was funny with the fluke, because he stuck his hand in the air as well and looked at Luke. Luke was laughing. Obviously, it's his buddy. I don't think the same reaction would be if he got it here. And there was just no shot, even for a fluke.
In the end, this is one of those occasions where Dom has run out of thinking time. You know, we are at 30 seconds a shot out there, and ended up not really doing anything. Tried to put the cue ball into a safe-ish area of the table and pop the 8 ball into play, but
I mean, you could have smashed it off 2 rails and as hard as you can, but the cue was coming off the table. He's that close to that black.
He has just left Declan enough of a chance here that he'll fancy these. And that's not too bad because he's on the top red of the 2, and he's actually the one he's the straighter one of the 2 he's on as well. So this is fine.
Yeah, 𝗏𝗃𝗃 will just be happy to get at the table and not be 4-2 down. And a very good chance now to level once again. But this time it's a slower pace in this frame. Not the usual reverse finish that we've had in the previous 5. Just wants to drop down onto these bottom 2 reds, just with a slight angle. Doesn't want to be dead straight. And that's lovely, perfect. Just enables him to get the angle on the last red so he can just get up to have a nice easy black into the centre pocket. A couple of choices, you could screw it back, you could run the cue ball forwards and come off 2 rails with a bit of side. Which he has done. A little bit pacier than I thought, but he's fine. 3 each it is.
Into the final 10 minutes as well. Big 9.5 minutes to go in this one. Keeping an eye on all the other matches going on. There is Carl Morris. We spoke about him for a bit in that frame. Callum Singleton in the foreground. Callum's at the table with a chance to win the match, actually. Carl Morris took the opening frame of the deciding set against Joe Prince, but it is Joe at the table right now. And Callum is 4-2 up and a set to 0 up against Eddie Barker. So this is for victory, and it looks to be a good opportunity.
Certainly if he's on reds by the looks of them.
Yeah, maybe the red doesn't pass the yellow. That I thought it did. Maybe it doesn't. Very strange to see Callum playing in flip-flops. I'm assuming he must have an injury of some sort. I think is there an issue with a toe there? He will have had obviously special dispensation to wear those. And yeah, it's the first time I've noticed that all weekend.
I just looked there and thought, yeah. Is that on a toe on each foot?
Would it be? It would be very.
Allowed to wear one flip-flop and one shoe.
It would be very weird to wear a dress shoe and a.
I'm not having it. If I'm Eddie Barker, I'm saying I want to see a certificate for both toes.
You're a tough man, Tony. You're a tough man. For a second, I think he thought he'd made both then, just when he saw that red just start to move, and he didn't want that. He was playing on the ball, so stays on the table. He's perfect here. This is just to continue. I mean, it hasn't all been reverse clearances now, but this is going to be 7 frames and all 7 against the person breaking.
Incredible.
Yeah.
𝗏𝗃𝗃 with a double check on the black ball. Yeah, what an extraordinary match.
It is Declan that gets to the hill first. Dom's going to be kicking himself because he should have been 4-2 up here. 4-2 up with the break, and I know the break's not been working for any of them, but you know, now all of a sudden he's 4-3 down and Declan has the break. And, you know, I know that the breaks are not working for either of them, but you still, as a player, you're still thinking, right, here we go. You know, my break's going to start, and
at some point, it has to. It's not going to rain forever.
Callum did not get the finish. In fact, there's very little movement in that one. And this kind of highlights what we've been talking about, Tony. We've seen a full clearance from Declan in the time of, well, we don't know how many shots exactly Callum's played, but there's very little movement in those balls there.
I think one.
Yeah.
That's what I'd be putting my money on.
Yeah, me too. Played to safety. In fact, it was Dom's break. Yeah, the break graphics are the wrong way around, but it says, so that was a win off for Declan off his own break. Apologies for that. But that was the first one in the match. This is going to be tough. Has he just grazed the red far enough to the left that it's going to cause him an issue? Yeah, so he's trying to kind of rearrange the furniture, really, make something happen. That's not really going to help him.
No, I think he was actually playing to screw that red and try and get some propulsion into it to knock that yellow in over the bag, and it's obviously didn't have the pace to do it, so now it's stuck behind that yellow. Can he go here? Has he got a little angle? He can play this with a tremendous amount of topspin. So he smashed the ball into the middle and get the cue ball to sort of nearly bounce forward. No, he's opting just for the loss of turn.
Wanted the cue ball just to track a little bit further to the right and almost get, not touch the yellow, but be sitting as close to without touching that yellow. It has given Dom an opener. Good news for Declan. The red still blocks the yellow in a nice way on the left-hand side.
Yeah, do you try and obviously pot this yellow first at the bottom of the table? Oh, no, he's not. He's playing safe. He's going to say and play the double with the yellow and kick the black out in the same shot. I think Declan can get through this. I think he can cut it in. He's not going to play to cut it in. He's waiting his time.
Oh my. Oh, I know he's rushed there because it's 15 seconds a shot, but that's a poor one from Dom.
Yeah. He won't be happy with that at all. Such an important time as well. Well, this is a great opportunity now for Declan Brennan to nick this first set. It looked like it was going to a decider, and a shake of the head there from Declan. He's landed very straight on this red. He just wanted an angle to be able to pop out.
Yeah, so he's going to take it to the bottom corner instead. And as long as he's straight enough just to drift by the 8 ball, this isn't an issue.
No, I think that's pretty good. Okay, he's a little bit close to the cushion, but he's not going to bother. He hasn't got to do anything with the cue ball apart from run it forward.
Yeah. Very intriguing opening set, has to be said. There's been some high-quality pool in there, and the normal fun and games at 15 seconds a shot, but it is the destroyer, Declan Brennan, that takes the opening set here in the Players' Championships, and he's one step closer to the quarterfinals.
This is set 2. Declan Brennan winning the first set. 5 frames to 3. And it's Dom Cooney breaking off in set 2. And he has broken dry. And that was a lot of the trend of the first set, where both players were reverse finishing because nobody could get a ball off the break, or if they did, it was normally the cue ball. With the exception of one break and finish from Declan Brennan, which turned out, in all manner of things, to be the difference between the two players in that opening set. As Declan very quickly chooses reds. Just got that one problem ball, but easy to get it out because he has a red over the centre pocket. I'm sure we'll probably do it now. And that's exactly what he's done. And now reds are all at Declan Brennan's mercy.
It's Callum Singleton, who did actually eventually win that frame that we're looking at, won the second set 5-2. And knocks Eddie Barker out, moves on. He'll now play Craig Waddingham in the quarterfinals. That will go on to Arena Table 2, where Stevie Dempsey is on the verge. In fact, Stevie Dempsey has completed victory over Brian Halcroat, 5-1, 5-2 for Stevie. So Irishman are looking good for another, well, it already is a good run for one of the most decorated Ultimate Pool pros we have. Only Tom Cousins winning more titles than Stevie.
Declan there just probably didn't want the cue ball right on the cushion, but he has a nice angle here anyway. Again, it's just cue through this nice central, run the cue ball through. And this for the opening frame in the second set. And Declan Brennan off back to his chair. One to the good.
Yeah, he's looking good, isn't he? He's gone through this field very smoothly. He's just a threat now, isn't he, for every... I mean, I know that it's so easy to say he's the #2 seed, but, you know, when Ultimate Pool first started, he won the very first Pro Series event. You know, people were talking him up as the best player in the world at that time. And he's had dips since then, but for the last... As long as, you know, for pretty much since Tom's been the #1, he hasn't been the #2, but he's been in the conversation for the, you know, with the best in the world, you know, and he is now the #2. And he is just, you know, last year, 5 finals last year. You know, it's incredible, the consistency that Declan has now reached. And even if, you know, he doesn't get the title, the win this week, you know, he'll just come back for the Pro Series in 2 weeks' time and still go back to his business. His floor is so high now. He just doesn't have big dips in form.
Yeah, and he's made that little adjustment this year. He's come over to Liverpool, and he's sort of residing there, and his practice partner now, Tom Jones. I think they're helping each other, but it's certainly made his game even sharper, I think.
Yeah, I think that one of the players that is essentially now a full-time player. You know, he's dipped in and out with being a full-time player, had a few bits and pieces around it over the last few years, but really dedicating himself to the game now.
Yeah, slightly disappointed look on Dom Cooney's face as he potted that ball. Loss of turn. That's not a bad shot there from Dom.
Can't see anything obvious for Declan to get his teeth into here, and I can't see a safety.
Yellow double off the right-hand side rail into the top left-hand corner is all I could see, or it's a length of the table plant. That yellow doesn't double into the middle. I think the red is definitely in the way, but it would go into that top left-hand corner. But then you've got the white coming back down the table again, so it's probably the plant is the best option, which is this yellow right up to the top, into the other yellow and into the top left-hand corner. This would be an incredible shot should he make it.
Oh. Very, very, very high tariff that from Declan Brennan, and executed to perfection.
I mean, you have to be millimetre perfect with this. Not only that, he's cueing near the rail as well. That is an absolutely brilliant shot from the man from Northern Ireland. And then he's followed it with that. After the Lord Mayor's show. Wow.
Biggest mistake he's made in the match, if not the weekend, following an unbelievable shot.
Yeah, that's incredible. Incredible little passage of events. So, Dom Cooney. Now with the reds. All nice and open. The man from Cambridgeshire. All boils down to when he wants to take this ball down the rail, and I would have thought he'd like to play it. Probably play it in the middle now and then play it down the rail and screw back for the red next to the black. May play it now. If you play this now, you've definitely got to leave an angle that on the other red into the centre so he can come down the table. So he's popped this in quite gently. Yeah, that's good. He's okay. So Dom Cooney going to level this second setup.
Yeah, good stuff from Dom. That was an excellent loss of turn shot he played. And all credit for Declan to come up with that incredible shot, but he didn't do anything wrong, and obviously got his second opportunity. As Callum is already straight back on in action here against Craig Wadding. And we talked about the sort of pace of matches and things, and that's unfortunately the deal when you're in long matches. His opponent was already waiting, so Callum's got to kind of go through the stamina here and kind of straight into a quarter-final match with Craig Wadding.
Yeah, I think the environment there suits the slippers more for Callum. You know, he's got a nice carpet there, and it's more like he's playing in the study.
Maybe we need to get some 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃 sliders into the shop.
Yeah, a smoking jacket and a cravat.
Yeah, the cowboy comes forward, looking for a big break. Oh, complete miss hit. But how often do we say the miss hit can really do work?
Yeah, the cue ball came back and shunted straight back into the pack for a second time.
Great reaction. Great reaction there from Dom. He knew how bad that was, but he's made a ball and he gets to play the next shot. It's not the best of layouts, but it's also a layout that one he probably will quite fancy here. In the end, he decides he doesn't. I thought he might have been on the red to left corner by the 8-ball. If he was, there was definitely a clean route out for him, but he can't have been. I'm sure he would have played it. Or maybe the red didn't go right centre. which I thought would have been his first 2 shots. So we're going to have a tactical exchange here.
Declan about to try and play the loss of turn and get rid of that red that was blocking the yellow, and he has, so he's progressed the frame forwards. It's basically forcing Dom Cooney now to maybe try and attack. Dom again elected to try and play safe, but he's not hit a cushion. So that is now going to be ball in hand for Declan Brennan. He has still achieved knocking that red in front of Declan's yellow. So he basically got what he wanted, but he has given Declan ball in hand as he gallops around the table, because he just wants to make as much use of his time as possible, Declan, as he figures it out. And try and move it out now with this shot.
Nicely done.
I think he's got an angle. He could maybe play that yellow down into the bottom right and kick the yellow and red apart on the right-hand side as well. No.
Missed the cannon. It's a poor one. I think the problem was he couldn't get the red full. If it was just get the cannon on the red, he doesn't miss it ever. But if he gets it full, he sticks on it and has no shot. So I think he was trying to get the glancing blow.
Can he screw this in and get the cue ball sort of pushing into the red and the black ball and come back towards it?
Plays it off the red. That was a clever little shot. I'm assuming this didn't go, though, the way he played the previous few shots.
I'm with you. Well, he looked that annoyed. Well, I was so annoyed that he didn't flick it out.
Yeah.
I thought it was just stuck to the red, but
turns out he was perfect.
There you go.
Declan Brennan going to get himself in front once again here in set 2. 2-1. Very nicely done. Excellent couple of shots there at the back end.
Yeah, fooled us all along.
As we see Callum just missing the one down the cushion. That is the first of our quarterfinals. Craig Waddingham has already taken the opening frame.
Yeah, that one did just catch the rail on the way down. Craig would ideally like to be able to play loss of turn here and try and shove Callum behind those yellows, but it might not have the best. Well, he's got the angle, it's just whether he has to just clip into the bottom yellow there and leave Callum stuck behind the other one. Yeah, I don't blame him here because it was a bit tricky. Maybe wait a shot, see if he can get ball in hand.
It's very good to cover the one cushion there. That's excellent.
thunderous break there from Declan Brennan.
Oh, cue ball again, though. Oh, it's going to stick on the table. It was dangerously close to top left. Didn't go in, but poor series of... Actually, it wasn't even that dangerously close, was it? He got kicked up to the top left. Look at Declan tracking it all the way. Oh, he's never left the cue ball.
I think he's got to play the red into the centre here. He can cannon in to that little cluster near the blue spot. Yeah, that's pretty good. This looks like a great opportunity now for Declan Brennan to give himself a 2-frame cushion in his second set. Just starting to look polished. I think you just run this red in that's next to the yellow in the centre of the table. Use the yellow just as a buffer, come through a bit, maybe then play red into left centre, go up for the red that's beneath the black, and then the one that's in the middle of the table, I think, goes long into the bottom corner. Comes down and plays these two in the middle now.
Did he get a little bit of a kick there, or is it just a poor strike?
He was playing it with a lot of left-hand side
looked
there
like it, yeah.
to try and, well, he's trying to steer the cue ball a little bit narrower away from that red, and it seemed to have pushed it actually closer. I think he might have had a bit of a kick there, Simon. I think you're right. Nicely done, though.
Just acknowledges that he kind of left himself a shot when he perhaps could have got away with one there, really. But I'm not sure it was necessary. Maybe that tells us he didn't get the poor contact and it was a poor shot. But anyway, Declan's got the frame on the board, and a very nice visit to the table for the man from Northern Ireland. He's looking good for a spot in the quarterfinals right now, and that will be against the defending champion, John McAllister, who's completed victory fairly comfortably over Chris Day, 5-1, 5-2 for 2-0 for the defending champ.
Yeah, he's quietly gone about his business. We saw him very early on in the tournament, obviously, on the main arena. But he's going to be hard to dethrone.
Oh,
that's not that break. That's when you go straight in one of the centres, that's as bad a break as you can hit.
yeah, miss-hit the previous one and came lower the centre pocket. There's a couple of very poor breaks from Dom. He was hitting good breaks and getting poor reward on the opening set. So was Declan, which is why it wasn't as much of a story as it could have been. But now the break's really gone off the boil for him, and could be in real trouble in this match.
Yeah, nice easy plant to start for Declan here. He wants to take the yellows. So he'll come down into this bottom left-hand corner. He's going to go high enough. He is. So he will be having a little look at the bottom right now. Just pop that yellow in there and probably kick into the other. Push it over the other middle. God, he went straight past it. I don't know if he intended to. to get himself back into perfect position now after, I'd say tricky shots, but he just got himself a little bit out of kilter. Let's just pot this, get in the gap between the red and the black. Oh, he's going up the table.
He's got a foul on himself.
I think he has, yeah.
Well, I need to see that again. Because
Wow.
he played the shot perfectly. I mean, ball in hand perfect. What's happened here? Oh, yeah, he hit it again. So he hit it, and then the reason the cue ball's landed perfect is because he gave it another little tickle.
Yeah.
So,
Because you want to land in the gap and just play the yellow in the middle.
yeah. Yeah, I thought he's played a great shot to get on that in the corner.
Double hit.
Turns out he didn't. Come on, Tony, back in your day, and let's be honest, in this day as well, a few players that you know that maybe don't say a word there.
Well, I'd say more back in my day than
No,
than now.
I think there's probably a few now.
Yeah.
I'm not naming any names, by the way. Just
I'll name them.
Yeah.
No. there was well, yeah, there'd be players known for. Put it this way, there'd be certain players you'd play and you'd rather have a referee there than not.
yeah.
But what I've seen from all these ultimate pool professionals, to be fair, is them being professional and obviously playing it with great sportsmanship.
Yeah, I suspect. I don't think there's any on the tour that wouldn't do it.
Well, what would you? And let's be honest, it's on TV.
Yeah, yeah. Dom's just come up a little shy on this one. It should be okay. It's going to track around the three cushions and be on a good line. Bit pacey.
Yeah, it's going to have to be a double now. He was hoping to slide past that 8 ball. So, one cushion double into the right-hand centre. I would imagine he'll be attempting. Oof, he's hit the knuckle. Yeah, he'll be very annoyed there, Dom. It's the position getting onto the last red that's cost him there. Now, does Declan play this into the middle or does he go long? I think he'll probably go to the middle gently as he goes long. Perfect, great shot.
Yeah, that's going to get him the better position, wasn't it? If he goes to the middle, the cue ball's running
Yeah, I
away.
just thought the pot's easy and I thought you just take it, but very good cue in there from Decky, and this puts him on the hill.
One away, isn't he? Looking good. A couple away, rather. The man that is one away is Joe Prince. He has got himself 4-2 in front in the deciding set against Carl Morris. Carl Morris is currently at the table. There he is. Houdini trying to hang in there. Joe Prince going very well this weekend. Another player that's just kind of floated through the field.
Local boy.
Local boy, yeah. This is he actually plays out the other Spots and Stripes clubs, but he's yeah, not too far from here. Very much from the Spots family. Carl's fighting for his tournament life here, giving that one every ounce of thought. As Declan comes forward. Breaking clearance wins the match. Crunching break. And he's going to get the chance he was looking for.
Hey, well, the keeper was setting off towards that corner. He just got bumped as he got to the bolt line. He was heading in off just for a split second. A couple of bumps, but he's got his hand on the table. Balls are there. Obviously not easy, but it is an opportunity to get over the line as you hear the bell. And that signals after this shot it will be 15 seconds a shot now for the rest of this set. Declan Brennan will be hoping it's the last set.
It shows the confidence of Declan, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's going to play this red now that's in the middle of the table and try and send the cue ball into the 8 ball and those 2 reds on the side rail. Keep them apart. And how's it come out? Pretty good.
Every red hat now has a pocket. 8 ball could have done with being a few rolls off the cushion, but it's not the end of the world for him. He just has to play a good cue ball to get there. For a second, he stopped in his tracks as he thought, oh, have I made both here? He hasn't. A little bit rushed there. He was we're in 15 seconds a shot. The first visit for him at 15 seconds a shot. There's Chippy. He'll be in action next up for us in the quarterfinals. 𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗏 is his opponent. Playing for the double, or is he going to stun across? Double.
That tells you exactly what is going through Declan Brennan's mind right now.
Okay, he's so straight, he probably can't force it across. This double for it.
Great cueing now for Declan.
In it goes. Brilliant performance from the destroyer. It really was. Declan Brennan, the number 2 seed, looking very sharp.